Welcome back, everyone, to more of our 2022 racing season here in NR 2003. So far this race weekend, we've gone truck racing and we've gone Xfinity racing at Auto Club Speedway. And now it's time for the premier event, which is, of course, the Cup Cars at Auto Club Speedway. And once again, as always, we'll be using the Full Circle Racing Next Gen mod. So let's hop right into single race. Once again, California BR will be the track, and the reason I'm using that when there are other options available that will certainly have much better graphics is because I wanted to really be able to work with the AI behavior and maybe make any other adjustments that I needed. Particularly important to me as we're getting started this season, and I'm still working with the physics and the AI to see how things need to work out. So as we move on, as always, we'll be using a lot of different types of tracks, but a couple of BR tracks to get us started is never a bad idea. So we'll be going quick race, a total of 38 laps, and like we talked about with the Xfinity race yesterday, hopefully my voice will hold out for the entire 38 laps. Now, one change we are making, in addition to the normal grid of 38 cars at 100% AI difficulty, we're going to change the damage level to realistic. And as long as everything plays out, we're going to start using this in each of the 3 series. Again, as long as it doesn't cause any frames per second issues or any other glitches along those lines with the graphics, then that is exactly where we will stay. So that's going to change the racing. That's going to mean that some cars are going to slow down when there's contact. And of course, it means for us, we have to mind our P's and Q's. So 38 laps at California BR. Let's get started.
Drivers, start your engines.
All right, there you have it. The command has been given. It's time to go green in about a half a lap. So as we approach the green, much like we talked about in the Xfinity Series race, I have no idea how strong the AI are here. This being our first Speedway race of the season. Now with Xfinity, we didn't have very much for them for the first probably 4 to 6 laps of the run, but then after that we started making some progress through the field. Let's see if the Cup Series proves to be very similar. But either way, we know it should be a nice challenge. Still trying to get used to looking at these new Cup cars. The design, particularly in the back end, is just very, very different.
Green flag, green flag, green, green, green.
It's going to take a little while to get used to the look of these cars on TV as well as in game. All right, so here we go. Going to try to tiptoe through the first few laps here.
Still there.
Okay, that wasn't too bad. You could hear me trying to pedal that thing and working the steering wheel. Same thing here. We're going to try to the bottom a little bit just to see how the car reacts down here. So pay attention to the differences in how you hear me working the throttle as well as the steering wheel between all 3 of the series. There are definitely going to be similarities to each of the other 2 series here in the Cup cars. There's sort of a mix in between the 2 as far as their behavior. Alright, we can do okay at the bottom, but I can't get enough of a run down there, enough grip to really get what I need. Alright, let's go to the top a little bit here and see if we can get this thing motoring. Yeah, we're definitely struggling here early on to find any sort of room and any speed against these guys. Alright, so we get in the draft, see if we run out of gear.
Car inside. Keep high. Still there.
Oh yeah, that clean air is really going to be valuable because I cannot figure out any way around these guys right now.
Inside.
All right, finally, we got a little bit of room up here in 3 and 4.
Stay high. You're up top, 3 wide, inside.
How about that? We were on top of 3 wide, running for last place.
5. Still there. Clear inside. Inside. Still there. Clear.
All right, so far so good. Again, we're not blazing anybody with our speed right now, but just so tight on the exit. I've got to figure out a way with the setup to get the car to rotate better on exit without becoming unstable. That's going to be the key. And these are going to be the same type of things that they're going to be dealing with in real life. What are they fighting? Are they fighting loose? Are they fighting tight with the car? And how do they adjust on that as time goes on? Now, I can tell you, if these guys are going to continue to run single file in front of us, that's going to be great because, as we've talked about with the other 2 series so far at this track, the middle is where I want to be. That's my sweet spot. I feel like at this track, based on the setup, based on the overall, my style of driving at this place. So if they'll do that and give me the middle in clean air, that'll be great. But you can see we're not there yet.
Still there. You're up top, 3 wide.
Come on, 17, let's go.
Still there. Still there.
All right, you can see we're starting to make a little bit of time.
Keep high.
Not quickly. So yeah, tight on exit is really where we've got our issue.
Clear.
So I'll be putting that in my notes, and when we head to Vegas, I'll be looking for a way to work on that. But overall, the car's pretty stable. Of course, if we get down on the bottom, it might be a little different story. But so far, we're pretty stable up here in the middle to high side.
Car inside. Clear inside.
All right, let's get down in this draft a little bit and see if we can't get up beside the 17. All right, the 62 looks like he's going to be right in our groove.
Keep high. Still there. You're up top, 3 wide, car inside, inside.
Which meant we needed to send it to the high side.
Keep high.
All right, that was actually a very good corner for us.
Inside.
The car stuck very well on the high side. Again, there is more grip
You're
up there.
Up top, 3 wide, inside. You're up top, 3 wide, car inside. You're
But
up
there
top,
have been
3
times
wide.
where I've driven it in too hard,
Stay high.
and there was no grip.
Stay high.
All right, I like it.
Clear.
I like that groove. So we can go in with this car a little bit harder. I couldn't quite do that. Couldn't get the feel that I needed up top in the Xfinity car, so I got some work to do there.
Inside.
I'm really enjoying how different these 3 cars are running.
Still there. Clear.
I chased it in a little too hard there. Try to keep it off that wall. We don't want any damage, if at all possible.
Keep digging.
No damage from contact to the wall and contact to
5.
other cars.
Car inside. Keep high. Stay
You can see I can get back to the gas
Clear inside.
pretty quickly, but then I have to get back out of it. It's almost a little bit like driving Dover in a lot of ways. All right, so we got a little something for these guys. You can see we're still gaining on them. We're approaching mid-pack.
197. Outside.
All right, that was just not a
Still
good
there.
corner entry there at
Clear.
all. I wanted to go to the bottom, but then as I got a really good run on entry on these guys, they backed out of it a little bit quicker than I was expecting, so that ruined everything for me. So we're not going to try that again just yet. We might wait and try that again when we get single file. All right, 15 come up here taking my air away. So these guys 3 wide, and hopefully they can sort this out.
42.759.
Is he going to give me the outside?
Car inside.
Yeah, see, he wanted to give me just enough room out
Keep
there
high. You're up top.
to stick my
3
nose
wide.
in there. He
Car
saw me
inside.
coming. Wasn't sure he was going to give me
Still
that
there.
room. He certainly didn't have to. Look at that. Look at that run
Clear
right there.
inside. Car inside.
Still had to pedal it a little bit on exit, but that was
Still there.
nice through the center.
Stay high. 42.453. Still there. Clear.
So the straightaway speeds are definitely less than what we saw in the Xfinity cars, but a good bit more than what we saw in the trucks as well.
Inside.
So slotting in about where I thought they would,
Stay
based on
high.
my testing.
Clear.
But again, testing and then an actual race with a full field of cars can be a very different thing.
Still there.
Oh, the car rotated very nicely right there. I'll have to do that again.
Still there.
I like that.
42.337. Keep high. Keep high. Stay high.
All right, we need to get to the outside. Oh, he didn't quite give it to us. All right, understand.
Still there.
Really, I needed the 10 car to give me that
You're up top. 3 wide.
that lane on top coming off the corner.
Hold your line. Car
Not that he had to,
inside.
because he
You're up
certainly
top.
didn't.
3
He was
wide.
clear.
Inside.
Boy, it sure would have helped our momentum. All right, so that's going to put us right at midfield.
43. Clear inside. Car inside.
All right, so I give it a quick tap of the brake on corner entry.
Stay high. Clear.
Oh yeah, that was a lot better. So again, these cars are going to feel very different in dirty air as opposed to the clean air. And the RPMs are definitely going to be different in and out of the draft as well. That is a huge factor here. This being a very wide 2-mile oval, yeah, draft is definitely going to be a big roll. All right, very good there in the middle of the corner. I was able to pick up the throttle, stay in it. You can see that's definitely helping us down the straightaway. All right, let's try the bottom.
Car outside.
All right, not the best entry
Still
there.
there.
Trying to use that apron to help me turn a little bit.
Clear outside.
Okay, it worked all right. But we're getting some visitors from behind, so yeah, that's probably not the way to go for us. I probably need to stay up in this middle to upper groove.
Car inside. Clear inside. Car inside.
All right, 21 gives us plenty of room out here on the outside. We should be able to finish off the pass.
Clear inside.
Yeah, a little loose there when we get to the bottom. Still not too bad. I think we could work with it and probably pick up some time if I was able to figure out exactly the way I needed to drive it down there. But overall, I'm probably just going to stick, more than anything, I'm just going to stick to this middle and upper groove because that's what's been working for us. All right, so we worked our way into, what is that going to be? Is it 20th? I feel like there's a lot to be had as far as speed down here on this bottom in 3 and 4. If I can hit it right. 1 and 2, maybe not so much. Just the angle that I'm getting into the corner is making it harder for me to get to the bottom without really slowing the car down quite a bit. And again, in testing, I would be noting the lap times and so forth to see what was quicker. But here, I'm really not even listening to him. That's more for you guys to hear every so often than it is for me. Yeah, got to the bottom, but could not get the car rotated the way I needed to. All right, so we sort of stalled out here in 20th, partly because we've lost the draft. All right, let's see if we can drive it in a little deeper here. On the high side, we can. Car sticks just fine. Hurt the rest of the corner though, so not quite as much grip up there as I was hoping. Trying to pick up a little extra speed. But now's our time to just do a little testing. We've got cars behind us by not quite a second, but we seem to be pulling away from them. Slowly but surely. And then the guys in front of us, we're not exactly running them down quickly. So this is the time to move around, see what you got and maybe some different grooves, try out some different techniques on corner entry and exit, all those types of things. But not having the draft is certainly a huge issue here at a track this big. Now, the good news is there aren't very many tracks on the circuit where the draft is going to be this important outside of the restrictor plate tracks. So of course Michigan will be the same way. And of course we'll be running even faster at Michigan with even more banking. But most of the mile and a halves, I would imagine we're going to be just fine without the draft. It'll certainly come into play, but I don't think it's going to be as huge of an issue as it is here, to the point where it's making it harder for us to operate without it. Ooh, that was not a good corner entry there. That's not what I was looking for. So miss your line a little bit, driving in a little too hard, all those types of things can make a big difference. 43.140. All right, looks like we had somebody had to come into the pits. Not sure if that was contact or what. And that's a lot of that is going to be the AI ratings. So I did a video here on the channel about that. And one of my favorite things when I do ratings is to leave a lot of gap between the minimum and maximum. Really as much as I can get by with without hurting the racing, because I like for things to change. I don't like to have the same race against the same guys every time. So the more room I can leave between that minimum and maximum, the better. And one of those opportunities is with
43.2.
how sturdy the car is. So what about parts failures? What about cars that, blow engines or blow tires? All those types of things that can potentially happen that will take an AI car out of the race. And that's one of the things I deal with. I have a pretty wide margin. I want to say that minimum is 40 on that, and maximum is 100, which would be essentially bulletproof. So that means that You're going to have failures, at least one per race probably, using a min-max like that.
43.272.
You can see we're definitely leaving the guys behind us. And we're making some progress on the group in front of us. I have no idea what lap we're on. I have no doubt that my spotter has told me at some point, 20 to go and so forth, but I just simply didn't hear it. Hopefully you guys did, and hopefully you guys have an idea of where we are in the laps, but I certainly do not. So we're getting close to 2.5 seconds. That means we've made up. Since I really started to look and pay attention to where those guys were, we've made up about a half second or so. Really trying to stay in that throttle on corner exit. Now I am hoping that we don't need to make a pit stop. We shouldn't, just based off of what we saw in the other two series, but I've not even looked at that. We'll just wait and we'll find that out together if it becomes a problem. But really no reason why it should. We were good by several laps in the other two series, which is good to know.
43.536.
Alright, so the car's starting to feel, this is a lot closer to the Xfinity. So I don't spend very much time completely out of the gas here. I'm only out of the gas for a moment as I let the car drift down into the corner. But once I'm into the gas back in the center of the corner, I'm pedaling it a lot. But I don't have to get completely out of the gas. It's almost like I can just stay in it. So again, somewhere a mix between what we have in Xfinity and the truck. But the trucks are definitely their own animal. Alright, now we're really starting to gain on these guys in front of us. I'm not sure if it's because they're losing a lot more time to the tire wear fall off than I am, or if we're just finding ways to pick up speed, because the car is feeling really good right now. Still have
10 more to go.
there we go, 10 laps to go. Still noticing that tight on exit for sure, but it's not near as bad here in clean air, not nearly as bad. But we are definitely running these guys down now quite quickly. So it looks like their tire fall off as we get late in a run. This is where I'm really starting to make ground on them. Yep, starting to pick up that tight. And that's what we're going to deal with here at the end of the race for the last 8 or 9 laps, is as I'm closing in on these guys, I'm going to get back into that dirty air. Alright, let's get this thing. You notice I'm changing my lineup a little bit. Trying to get down a little bit lower on the track when I have that clean air, especially on exit, through the middle and exit. As long as the car will rotate and I can get back to the gas, the lower on the track I can get, the better off I will be. But when you're thinking about the dirty air and the draft and all that, think about 1 second. Because around 1 second behind or in front, that's where the draft really, you're on the edge of it. And you can see we are at that threshold now. So we got Bubba Wallace and Eric Jones immediately in front of us. This is where I'm definitely going to want to migrate more to the top of the track. The fall off is very real in the tires, and I absolutely love it.
43.533.
All right, let's get up to the high side here and see if we can make some ground. Yeah, still a little bit too tight. If I could stay back in the gas and stay in it in the center of the corner when I get back to the throttle, then we can make up a lot of time. I feel like we're losing quite a bit per lap because of that. So who is that in front of Eric Jones? Make sure I don't steer it into the wall when I'm trying to look. Oh, that's AJ.
43.752. Car
You see, all those straightaway speeds pick up quite nicely
still there.
when you're that close and pulling in on
Clear
those
inside.
guys.
Inside.
Look at that. Backed out of the gas early,
Stay high. You're
backed up the
top,
corner,
3 wide. Car inside.
and yep, we're going to make it happen, especially when they're running 3 wide. That slows them
Clear
down
inside.
and gives us a very nice run on the high side. Can't stay in the gas. Really wanted to run that high side the entire way through the corner, just could not make it happen.
Inside. Just 5 more to go. 43.
All right, 5 more.
925. Still there. Clear inside.
I am not excited to see this race be over. I mean, we're starting to make up positions now. These guys are falling off at the end of the run more than we are.
Inside. Clear.
Oh, can't quite get to where I need. All right, let's see if we can pull the draft off of him here.
44.264. Car inside. Keep high.
Oh, he was out of the gas
Clear.
way early on corner entry there.
Car inside. Clear inside.
Oh yeah, he was no match there. That was almost like a I'm gonna get out of your way type of move, which would not be ordinary to see this late in the race for sure, and certainly not from AJ Allmendinger. All right, so that's going to put us into 16th position. Looks like Ryan Blaney's having a rough day in front of us. I would imagine that was some sort of contact that gave him that damage. Now that we have realistic damage on, it certainly seems plausible. Car feels fine down there on the bottom. I don't think there's as much speed down there, but
Just 2 to go. 44.248.
just based on the optics of it and how it feels to drive down there, I just don't feel like there's as much speed for me down there, but I can get down there. I hate to think I had to make a bunch of passes down there though. Like if everybody was running the top and I had to get down there in order to make passes, that would be a long day. Yeah, I did. Oof, that was a rough corner. Trying to get all the way to the bottom, spend a lot more time than I wanted to out of the gas completely, and then on exit still didn't have what I needed. But the fact that we have no pressure from behind and there's no way we're going to catch Chastain in front of us, it was time to play around with that a little bit and just see what we had. I'm really hoping there's a lot of tire fall off at Auto Club in the real racing this weekend, with the Cup car being totally new, and of course a totally new type of tire, a lot less sidewall. It's going to be a lot stiffer. I'm not sure what Goodyear has in store for the tires, but I'm hoping they get tire wear. I hate it when they run races with no tire wear. And oh, okay, that was the checkered flag.
Bring it on home and let's
I
get
thought we
the
had
heck
a
out
few
of
more
here.
laps. I wasn't paying attention clearly. So not bad. There by the end, we had a touch of, well, really everything. We had some time in some 2 and 3 wide racing at the beginning. Things got strung out, and we got to spend some time in clean air. And then we got to spend a little time in a smaller pack, 2, 3, 4 cars, to see how that dirty air worked as well. But at the end of the day, we come home 16th. So let's go ahead and pull it to the stop. We'll go ahead and do that before we get back. Let these guys go ahead and file into their pit stalls. Now, if you're interested in that paint scheme, that beautiful looking Baskin Robbins paint scheme, take a look in the description down below. And that really goes for everything you see in these videos. In the video's description, I keep a list of different places related to NR 2003 where you can get things like paint schemes and mods, tracks, you name it. All of those are available in some of those links. All right, so let's take a look at where everything come out. Now you notice we're 16th, but look how far off the pace we were. Almost 27 seconds. Joey Logano putting a wicked pace out there. Kyle Larson in second. Elliott, Harvick, Truex. Some of the guys that you would expect to see up at the front. Anybody that we would not expect. Not really. I mean, Tyler Reddick, I expect him to run a lot better and really challenge for a lot of top 10s and top 5s this year. At least I'm hoping he does. Okay, let's look at the bottom of the field. All right, so no failures there. So it probably was just a little bit of contact. So that was a lot of fun. Again, that was a blend between Xfinity and trucks, sort of in the middle a little bit, with the lean definitely more toward the Xfinity. I really enjoy the lower grip driving. A lot more off-throttle time is right up my alley. But that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and we'll see you again next week when it's time for Vegas.